afternoon. It's MOMTime Retreat. I'm thankful for my mother-in-law being here. I'm using my mom time to come and talk to you guys because I miss it, and this month is really important to not only myself but many of the women that I am so honored and I feel privileged to work with on a daily basis. So thanks for joining me today, and if you're watching this on the replay, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. How's everybody doing? What day is it? I have no idea. Thursday. It's Thursday. My mother-in-law's here. It is Thursday. Do you ever get like spring break hangover or like just even vacation hangover? I didn't really take a vacation because, motherhood's not vacation. So they were not in, some of them were not in school. I made the rest of them not be in school as well. So then I had all of them to facilitate all day long. So cheers to that. So today I'm going to be talking about something that happened to me not too long ago and what I learned from it. And really honestly, a lesson that it taught me regarding the death of my son who committed, I don't even like saying that. Sorry. He passed from suicide. And as life goes on, we reflect and we learn lessons and we hope that we get better for sure. And there will always be so many questions and unknowing in this situation. And that happened years before the situation I'm going to talk to you guys about today. So in 2019, I was operating my business and had decided to partner up with somebody, and I wanted to pursue it, and it was in its trial phases and things were happening and moving. And as things were happening and moving, I saw that they weren't actually really running a business in a legitimate way that I wanted to be attached to. And as I gently and kindly started to remove myself from it, their reaction was to handle it very immaturely and attack me on social media. And what happened was a ton of people came to try to see like what we would typically call, which I don't even like the word anymore, a cat fight, which is ridiculous, but they wanted to see two people bicker and fight something out online, and which was absolutely ridiculous because I was not going to partake in that at all. But that didn't stop people from coming over and sending me hundreds and hundreds of messages on a situation that they did not understand, that nothing was actually being talked to. I did not really actually state anything. They were going off of just a rant of one person, and the things that the person was saying wasn't even accurate. And in essence, trying to destroy everything and anything that was me at the time. And that was hard. It was really, really hard. And so I'm getting messages from complete strangers, and they're saying some pretty awful things over paper products, over something that they had no clue about. And the messages that I was receiving was things such as, you should kill yourself. I can't believe that you're even alive anymore. And on and on and on. And I don't even want to give the words any more value than that at this point in time. So I don't even have to, anyway, we have the essence of what was happening, right? At the same time, I had to go attend an event that was a lifelong dream of mine that I had been working for decades. And the person who instigated and thought it was okay to treat somebody this way, and that it was okay for hundreds and hundreds of women to treat another person this way, I was going to have to face to face. In a business setting, with my reputation on the line, with my business on the line. And I did it. But I didn't go into that period of time where I would be traveling by myself with no support system. And having to face that without learning the lesson that these women just taught me. And this is a lesson that they taught me. And I learned it and realized it as I am crying, bawling my eyes out in the shower. The shower stall that has not only been my saving grace at times, but literally a prison that I was barricaded into. So I'm very thankful to be away from those things. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, all of this is happening and hundreds of women are sending me messages. They have no clue who they're sending this message to. They have no clue about the situation. They have nothing, no buy-in whatsoever, but they feel that it is okay to send horrible, horrendous messages. So I'm in the shower crying, and in a moment, I have a moment of clarity, and I dry my eyes, and I say, this is why he isn't here anymore. This is why my child couldn't keep going, because he had not been able to build the skill of resilience. Now, his story is not mine to tell here, but I do realize now that he may never have been able to have the skill of resilience, because no matter how much I tried to help him, because of his circumstances, his life prior to coming back to me, destroyed a lot of that. So resilience is one of these skills that literally is key to surviving life, but yet we don't teach it. We don't focus on it. We don't strive to do better in it. And so it is very, very important to me, because in that shower I realized that that was it. That was one of the key reasons why he was no longer with us anymore, is because he had that skill was lacking in his life. And that the only way I was going to survive what I was going through and what I had to face and fly thousands of miles to do and to handle, and then to also have in my hands people just attacking, was the skill of resilience. And so I became bound and determined that I was going to learn anything and everything about the skill. I was going to intentionally build it into my life. I was going to talk about it, and then I was going to get to the point where I could teach it, because that's how important it is to me. And so I'm very excited to be now partnered up with an amazing woman. So Dr. Cheryl Jewel Jackson, or as people may hear me say, Dr. C, Psycho Mom. She talked the other day in Psychobabble about resilience, exactly what it is, the types of resilience. Gave you an overview. If you have not listened to it, please go listen to it. Because resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. The ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape and elasticity. Our bodies are very resilient. We see it time and time again. Our stomachs stretch, our skin stretches, our organs move, and our body adapts in some ways for a period of time and accommodates other things, right? We're going to be talking about those two words later on. And then it comes back, right? It's very, very resilient. I've had to learn about resilience in my body's illness. Shortly after this event that happened in 2019, right during that time, I was also being challenged with my health and finding answers and what was happening. My last baby had split my pelvis, and I was trying to continue my business on and do all of these things, and to also then be attacked in another way, right? Like, how do we handle these things? How do we not cave in and just completely give up? And sometimes it's not completely give up, like in the sense as my child did, but to give up on our dreams, or to withdraw ourselves from our community, or people that we want, or things that we do desire, or relationships that we do want to have, and we withdraw, right? Or we completely quit on that. So how do we do that? How it seems complicated, right? Like, we all have a process that we have to go through. We all have things that are holding us back. And the things that hold me back are completely different than the things that could possibly hold you back or any other person, but they might be similar. And so I think one of those things is we can talk about it. And so this month, as we're talking about it, I will be giving examples in my life. I'm going to talk this month about how I'm helping my children build resilience, and in different resources where I have found help, in different avenues in those vocations. And I want to give you some tangible actions that you can do, things that you can practice. So listen to Dr. C on Psychobabble, learn the science and the in-depth discussion about these topics, and then come over here and I'm going to start showing you the tangible ways that we can put them into practice. I did love her conversation, especially working out in outside workforce, or having a job, and that you can relate in that way. We talked about adoption through companies and organizations, but these things are true within our own lives. And so anything that we can see happening in a business structure can also be happening within our home and life structure. So if you haven't read it yet, read her book, Family Business, as well. There's a couple homework assignments. All right, let's get down to business. So, resilience, it is a key aspect to survival in every category, in every vocation of our life, from home, work, relationships, sports, school, our personal relationship with our own self, our health and wellness, our community. Did I say that already? I don't know. I might be repeating a lot of stuff. But it's essential, right? We have to have it, but why are we not talking about it? Why do I not teach it? Why isn't it in a class in high school? Lots of why questions with no answers. So how can we, when we realize maybe we are lacking in resilience, and maybe we're only lacking resilience in one category. Maybe you're really resilient at work, and it doesn't matter what happens at work, that's not going to phase you in that category. But in your marriage, you're not very resilient. If you say something or your husband says something, just a slip, and you're like catching the tone, and you're not, everything's on edge, and there's some lack of resilience there. There's a lot of different ways that resilience or lack of resilience can show up in our lives. And so for each of us, it'll be a little bit different. But these exercises can work no matter what type of resilience you're working on. So there's a couple different types of resilience, of course. Psychological, emotional, physical, and community. There's where community came in. I knew I had that word. Community, so your external people outside of you, not just community members. I mean, it can be your family as part of your community and your environment. So I'm gonna pull out my planner. Did you guys see the Better Ever Perfect released? The Better Method Planner. We're so very excited about it. So very excited about it. It's been a long time coming. So I took, of course, anything that's in the physical shop, you can also get in the digital shop. So if you like to print out your own stuff, of course, that's a bargain for you. So I took the decorative grid notebook paper and put all of my notes for us today out on it, because you can just type on it on a PDF. Yeah. Isn't that cute? I'm loving it. So I have this whole little section. I even put resilience up in my little top box. So, all right. So here we go. I got my notes in it. Are we ready? If you have a plan or a notebook in front of you, let's jot these down. Okay? So we need tangible things in our lives that we can build resilience, because we can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and talking is great. Conversation is essential. We have got to get to the point where we have awareness and acknowledgement that we're actually having the conversations. We're talking about the language. We're focusing on these words, but then we actually have to take action too. So everybody and anybody's going to tell you meditation, mindfulness is an excellent practice to start first. So no matter your beliefs, if you could start there, that's, we need time to where there's quietness, there's stillness. It's very hard with this many people and kids. Very hard. I go to sleep with it. I have had to build it into my life intentionally. We'll talk about that at another time. But so one of the first ways to establish resilience in your life is to set or establish a growth mindset. And what does that mean? And how do you do it? Well, in order to get your mind functioning in the ways that it needs to, so that it can learn new things and build skills that maybe it's lacking or it was never taught in the first place, is we've got to bring some life to it. We've got to wake it up. We've got to have fun and bring a sense of curiosity. So curiosity, learning, and trying new things. When we do that and we're open to new experiences, to things that maybe we are a little hesitant to, and we go out of our way to try those things, it revives. It brings a sense of life to us. Think about ordering a new entree on the menu and you try something new for the first time and you're like, oh, wow, that's good. And so then that tells your brain that, hey, I can try new things, and it's not always going to be bad. I can put myself in an uncomfortable situation, and it might not be as uncomfortable the next time. It might taste good, right? So we're establishing this in simple ways in our lives, because we can't just go and say, okay, let's be resilient and put on this armor. It doesn't happen that way. We have to build it. Look for answers of questions that you often have. So I love kids for this reason. We talked about this. Of course, between Dr. C and I, we've had 9 kids. I think I calculated right. 8 kids. Sorry, 8 kids. But like, where do rocks come from? Why is the sky blue? How do trees grow? What is a thunderstorm? What is the mist? How do diffusers work? I'm looking across the room. Like, find things that you just ask yourself and then go find the answers. Like, intentionally instill curiosity into your own life, not just the curiosity of other people and what they're asking you to look up. Because I don't know about you, but I've looked up some stuff that doesn't stick with me. Like, my kids were curious about it. I was not curious. I probably knew it at some point in time, and then I was like, whatever, I'm going to dump that information. Color, do crafts, learn a new skill. Have you ever wanted to learn photography, bird watching, crochet, something of that nature? Why does my phone keep on doing that? I'm going to have to figure it out. The screen goes dark? Okay. All right, so these are tangible ways that we can build our personal resilience. And as we're building our personal resilience, then we can start focusing on categorically how we can build resilience in our vocations. So be willing to make mistakes. Do we need to go over this one? Are we still at this point in time where we have to talk about? Yes, we are. A lot of times mistakes or failures have been reworded into opportunities. And we joke about it, but this reframing is an important technique that we can do. It's been proven by the science. Again, go listen to Dr. C. But it helps us view things differently. When we can change our perspective, our perception of something, how we think of that thing or the reality of that has changed. And so the idea that simple mistakes are just, or little mistakes are learning opportunities, or a failure is just a form of success not seen yet, or however they're wording it, whatever your phrase is that you enjoy, those are good things. They're not always a bad thing in your life if it's helping you pursue your goal and go towards a goal, if it's functional for your life and not making you feel bad. So these forms of positivity aren't toxic because we're utilizing it as a tool. Toxic positivity is used for blame and shame and guilt, not as a tool. So these are the differences. Try things where you have a high chance of failing, for sure. Like, go do it. After leaving a very abusive marriage, I obviously was not in a great place. And one of the things I did was I went and signed up for a kayak race. I had never kayaked before in my entire life, ever. And I signed up for a race. Now, I had somebody pushing me to do it. And I don't know that that person was doing it in a positive way, but I did it, and I set out to do a goal. And the goal was I was going to fail. And I knew it. And that was okay. I was going to practice failing. And I came in second to last place. So then I didn't actually end up failing. One, I accomplished something that I didn't think I could do. I had never done before. I anticipated being last. I planned on being last. And guess what? I beat the person that pushed me to do it that wasn't pushing me for a good reason. Like, I came in second to last. And I'm proud of it. Who is proud of failing? That's a failure. Second to last place in a race is a failure. Well, not if we're changing the perspective. Not if we're changing our perception of the way that we're seeing it and that we're framing it in our head. Not if we hit it at a different angle. So, all right. Acknowledge, accept, and embrace change. This is the next step. So far we've gone through, are we loving this so far? If you're loving this or you're like not liking it, comment. This is an active, ongoing conversation between me and you. So we're doing tangible exercises to help build our personal resilience. We have said that we need to establish growth mindset by curiosity, learning, and trying new things. Lots of different ways to do that. Be willing to make mistakes. And now we're going to talk about acknowledge, accept, and embrace change. Yes, it means you're pushing yourself, trying new things, growing. Absolutely, absolutely. So acknowledge, accept, and embrace. Wow, this seemed heavy, right? But they can actually happen in like that much time. Once you start establishing these patterns in your mind, you can start recalling them and calling upon them again and again, so that when you're in the situation where you're not feeling really great and you're feeling nervous, when you're feeling like you don't have resilience, where you can't turn around, instead of saying something really nasty back to those women, I thanked them. I was like, thank you for teaching me why my son isn't alone. I was honest. Thank you so much for teaching me why my son isn't here anymore. That was an honest answer. I'm not thanking them for being assholes to me. You know, I'm not thanking them for their behavior. I was thanking them for the lesson that I learned, and I bid them farewell, and I didn't engage, right? Not engaging and deciding not to engage is also part of that learning the skill of resilience, of when to engage, when to not engage. All right, let's go back to good things. I don't want to talk about all that yucky stuff right now. So pick something to do slightly different than your go-to. Ask someone different to pick the dinner, maybe. Okay, so here's a good way to embrace change. If you do something the same way all the time, or if you're always the one to pick dinner, maybe start there. that's a simple change that you can do and realize, oh, this feels good. It's okay to let go of certain things, right? Because acknowledging that change is going to happen and change is inevitable helps us be resilient when change happens. So it's interesting how we have to actually introduce change into our lives so that we can build the resilience against it when it happens in not great ways, right? Maybe you say, hey, we're going to pack a bag. We're gonna close our eyes and pick a place on the map, and that's where we're gonna go for the day, and we're gonna just go adventure. Again, we're instilling that growth mindset because we've introduced fun and curiosity, but we're also embracing change. So you can have exercises that you do in your life that incorporates many of these things all at the same time. And then the more often we do them intentionally in our lives, then as situations hit us, we'll find that we do feel a little bit more resilient. And even if it's a situation that you haven't faced before. I had never had that many people rush over and follow my account. And so that was quite interesting. And two, I'd never been attacked like that by complete strangers in my entire life. So because I had already started building my skill of resilience because of my previous situation and getting out of it and really, really working hard and going to therapy and talking these things through and really, really establishing what now we're bringing to you as a better method. I handled a situation, I feel fairly well, that I'd never had to face before. So it would be so much fun. Just pick a random place to visit and visit. Absolutely. That letting go of saying, I'm not going to have control over something, and I'm going to enjoy this, and there's going to be intentionality behind it. Lets our mind go, okay, I can handle this situation. And if something happens. So ours the other day was, we went Monday to a candy store, and I took my children to this candy store. I met my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, or two of my sister-in-laws there. And on the way there, my daughter got car sick. Not once, but twice. Great. Resilience. We're building resilience. Do you see what I'm saying? So a situation happens, then yes, things happened. I think I probably screamed a few times. Of course, it happened to us on the way back. And then when it happened to us on the way back, everybody in the car was way more calm when it happened. Because one, we knew we were more prepared. We had already said, hey, we survived it the first time. We can handle it this time. And everybody knew what to do. And it was easier. Now, we don't want to go through it, but it was easier. We became a little bit more resilient. The planner in me is a bit apprehensive about not having a plan. Okay, so here's the thing, Amy. I'm going to pause for a second. I just let go. Yes. Something as simple as switch seats at your dinner table. There you go. Very simple. So see how you can start establishing things. All right, Amy, I'm going to take a break because we're going to talk about a few, let's see. We have 2 more tangible exercises you could do. So the planner in you is apprehensive. So I'm going to read your quote. So you said, the planner in me is a bit apprehensive about not having a plan. I need to just let go more. But you do have a plan. Packing your stuff up, saying we're going to randomly pick this spot, that is a plan. Just because you don't have the details of everything doesn't mean that you don't have a plan. So you can let your planner person heart relax, take a deep breath, because there is a plan. And this is what you're intentionally doing. If you're intentionally doing something, it's already a plan. So intentionally being curious and going on an adventure and not knowing where you're going to end up is a plan. I said it one more time for you, Amy, just because I don't think that you are the only person that needs to hear that, for sure. So thank you for putting that comment. I really love when you guys comment so we can have conversation. It's not to hone in and pick on anybody. It's to have these dialogues, because if you're thinking it, somebody else is thinking that way. Because I know that the thoughts that I've expressed, thank you for being here, Dr. C, the thoughts that I've expressed to even her on things that I would think there's no way she could relate to me. There's no way that she could relate to this. She's related. Why? Because at the essence of who we are, we're all women. We're all struggling with all of the very similar things. They just, the circumstances might look a little different. The picture might be framed just slightly different, but it's still a picture. It's still our lives. We're still trying to do the best that we can, right? So, and Jerry Shar, if you would love to pop up your name, tell me where you're from, especially if you're commenting. I love having an actual conversation. I'd love to know your name. All right, let's I have a couple more things that we can do under acknowledge, accept, and embrace, and then we're going to move on. We have 2 more to go. All right. Release items you've been holding on to for the just in case. So, when we release things, Jerry from Texas, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Cheryl from Texas. My heart's in, okay, I can't sing. I'm not going to try to sing. I will start with a southern accent pretty soon. I'm very, very tired. I was born in Houston, Texas. I was raised there for 4 years. So I feel like I can say that I am. Right? Oh, okay. Release items you've been holding on to for the just in case. All right. So why does this help us build resilience, or how does this? First, we acknowledge, what is this item? Why have we been holding on to it? We realize and accept that we've been holding on to it for no real reason. The just in case is never going to happen. It's not that important. Maybe it's something we need to let go of and be like, it's not going to circle back. Like, I need to start believing it's not going to circle back. And then embrace the change of that it's not in your life. And what happens is you're free then to move forward. A lot of these things that we're holding on to for the just in case is holding us down. It's keeping us heavy. And it's very hard to be resilient when you're heavy in mental weight and spiritual weight and psychological weight and emotional weight. It's very difficult to be resilient when those are the things that are going to attack us and attack our resilience. And so things can do that for us. Yes. All right. Who wants to do the clapping? Deep in. See, I can't even do it. I cannot sing unless I have the music with me. I'm not going to do it. All right, so start looking. What can you look around? Clothes. I just did it with my clothing. Get rid of it. It's not comfortable. You don't wear it. You're not gonna go, like, I had some clothing that there was like, well, just in case, I'm never going back to that life. Why? Because I don't want to, and I'm intentionally doing things so I never am in a place where I have to, where the choice is removed from me, right? So there were things that I just get rid of. And it gets you in a different mindset as well when you're releasing and you're not heavy, and you can go, okay, yeah, I am moving forward. Yes, I am pushing forward. Yes, I am becoming more resilient. And you start feeling it. Let go. The next one is let go of the expectations, how it was supposed to be. Also, normal. Get rid of those words. The only expectations we have any control over are the ones for our own behavior. And when we apply expectations to our outcomes or to others, it sets ourselves up for failure and hurt. So if we are setting ourselves up for failure and hurt, we're consistently attacking ourselves and we are wearing down our own resilience. So what can we do to do that? First, we've got to change our expectations. And this is where the heart of manageable expectations lies. And then we build our deliberate and intentional practices upon those, because expectations is what has been dictating our lives, our mindsets, our actions, our emotions for so long. And they're normally, there's your normal, typically, there we go, let's change it. Typically what we do is we set expectations based on what we think we should be doing, based on what we think other people are doing. And none of it is actually true. So that is a really good place for us to start always. Let go of your expectations, reestablish new ones, and set expectations for your life. That's a whole nother process. We'll talk about it another time. I got to move around, you guys. This is why I'm on my bed. All right, and it may move my camera, so it's okay if it bounces. It's very refreshing to purge through the things that you've held onto, that just in case it's a cleansing. And it also makes us realize that holding on is weighing us down, and it's preventing us from being resilient. So when we look at it that way, it just becomes even more powerful, right? Going through your clothes isn't just going through your clothes. There's power, meaning behind it. Donating items of that from your kids, and you're not going to have any younger kids, and you don't need to pass every single book and toy onto grandchildren if you have grandchildren. And so even donating those so that they have another purpose, right, it's less on us, the emotion behind holding on to all. It's really interesting. I love it. What is normal anyway? Everyone's definition is different. Yeah, that's the thing, is because we tried to take a word and use it in a different way, and it shouldn't have happened. But that's typical for the American language. I don't know other languages as well, so I would say that it probably happens in other languages as well, but where a word is used in one category, normal was a word used, and it's a scientific term, and it got pulled into our entire lives. So we talk a lot about normal things in our book, but that's not me. Dr. Cheryl and I talk about the word normal, and it will be a word that we're going to continue to talk about, because there is no such thing. I mean, your normal is your normal. It's not comparable to anything else. So, all right, let's get back. Okay, so let go of expectations, how it was supposed to be. We could talk a lot about that one, right? We could unpack that a lot. All right, set it aside and move on. Don't dwell. Should we review back to the beginning? So we're talking about tangible exercises to help build our personal resilience, establishing a growth mindset by incorporating curiosity, learning, and trying new things in our lives. A lot of experimenting. Be willing to make mistakes. Do it intentionally. Acknowledge, accept, and embrace change. Set out for it. Let go of expectations of how it was supposed to be. And last but not least for today, set it aside and move on. Don't dwell. This is where distraction is a good tool. Okay, so a lot of things that we think are negative can actually be used for good, right? So almost everything can be used for negative and positive. Let's learn that right now, okay? So distraction, a lot of times we don't want to be distracted. We want to be very, very focused. Here's where distraction flips on the other side and becomes a tool that we can use. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling like you're not having much resilience and you take a break, you walk away, you change your focus and distract yourself onto something else. Something that has nothing to do with it. A book, a movie, change the task that you're doing. Maybe it's an email that you need to send and it's like, this is weighing really heavy. It helps you develop a different sense of optimism, to look at things in a different light, to allow the emotions to calm down, and takes so much of the attention that's right in your face, of the negativity, the fear, the hurt that you are facing, which are all still very true and valid, right? So both sides are very true and valid. You have a right to be hurt. You have a right to be afraid. You have a right to be cautious, or to be angry, or to be jealous, whatever you're facing in your resilience. Those are valid feelings. But your mind has the ability to also look at it from another perspective, but you have to intentionally do that. And so distraction is that tool that we can use in our lives. It's also if you are in a situation where you find that every time the situation happens, I'm not very resilient. And you've got to the point where you're acknowledging actual situations, not just trying to build your overall skill of resilience. If you've acknowledged and accepted on this other side, we talked about that just a minute ago. Now, because you can acknowledge and accept it, you can actually change the pattern and say, okay, this is what happens every single time. I'm going to move. I'm going to change courses because this happens all the time. That's a form of distraction, but it's an intentional distraction that you build in. So, and it's a great way to get your body to instantly stop dwelling on it, because that's another thing that happens. So you have your phone and you're getting messages after message after message after message of just horribleness. This is my situation. Putting the phone down, walking away, knowing that my body is getting ready to go into its pattern, which this is what I did. I went and took a shower. Because I knew I didn't need to let that negative pattern set in. I needed to change instantly what I was doing. I need to establish an intentional distraction and utilize it as a tool instead of handling the situation at that point in time. Ouch. A lot of these, you'll see a lot of these can be transferred over as well. If you're a mother or a caregiver, you can use this as well to help others learn it. So keep this list handy. As you're working on it, you can also be helping others work on it. All right. How else do we set it aside and move on and don't dwell? Expressing gratitude is a great way to distract ourselves. So not in I'm going to write my gratitude every single day. When you're faced with a situation that you need to be resilient, if you take a moment to set it down and move on, don't dwell, and think, okay, what is it that I can be grateful for right now? So my situation, what did I do? What is it that what can I learn? What can I be grateful for? What other things can I think about other than how much hurt and anger and other emotions that I'm feeling? It's not easy to do, but you can do it because, again, we're in control. We're in control of what our mind thinks about. We're in control of what we intentionally allow or not allow into our lives. We have to just claim that. And it's not easy to do. None of this stuff is easy to do. If it was easy to do, we'd all be doing it. It would just come to us naturally, right? But the skill of resilience doesn't come to us naturally now. I wonder if it did back in the day. Like, did cavemen, they were resilient, right? Cavemen and women, resilient. Let's think about history. People were resilient for a lot, but we could completely digress into that because you guys know I love talking about history, but we're not going to. So the point of what I'm trying to say is that in all that's going on, and all the things that we're doing, when we're hit with a situation and we're not quite sure exactly what and how we need to handle it. Dwelling right in that moment is not going to help us. So building our skill of resilience tells us to set aside, move on, don't dwell, come back to it if you need to, but in this moment, I need to do some other things. I need to replace these feelings intentionally with something else. And gratitude instantly replaces those feelings. It brings on a sense of emotion instantly. So if you took a moment, 1 second while you're here with me, make yourself feel angry. I can do it. I'm very angry. I'm angry that last night I didn't get to complete my book club because my child's emotional trauma tantrum. I am angry at the hundreds of women that thought it was okay to tell a complete stranger to kill herself over something they had no clue what was going on, and it had to do with paper products. I am angry at what's going on in the world today. I can feel the anger inside of me. Take a deep breath, whatever your emotion was. Maybe you were sadness, maybe you were other things. Anger makes me cry too. I get very sad and angry at the same time, like both of those. Take a deep breath. And in this moment that you just felt very angry, start listing off in your head or out loud the things that you have to be grateful for. You cannot continue in the same mindset. It changes. I can still be angry, but not feel angry. There's where we start having control. That is where the growth mindset is. I can still be at that, but I'm not feeling it right now. And I'm not allowing that emotion to reign supreme, right? So my gratitude is, I'm grateful that you're here with me today. Thank you. I am grateful that I'm still alive. Thank you. I'm grateful for hot coffee. I'm grateful for the wonderful women that taught me a lesson that I needed to learn. To have just one inkling of an ounce of understanding of why I went through the things that I've gone through and why my son wasn't here anymore. See, it changes. It changes our perspective. And when we're building resilience, that is going to be key. We've got to start changing our perception and our perspective. And the only way to do that is start it off in the beginning. We talk about the language of the word. Go watch Dr. C Psychobabble on Tuesday, where she gives you the language and the conversation. She talks about, we're going to be talking about adaptability versus flexibility and how that's essential. And why this is such an important part of what we do. Then we're having the conversation, and we're taking action and establishing these tangible exercises in our lives. And those are the things that change our perception and our perspective. And when we do that, our reality changes. We don't have to live in that reality anymore. We don't have to live in the days where we wondered why. I don't have to question. I have some answers. Will I have all of my answers? No, I'll never have all of my answers. But I have that one. And I'm good. And it's helped me a lot. So, that is today's MOMTime Retreat. Now my coffee's a little cold. When my husband was in the military, we had mandatory marriage conferences. The speaker said that for every one negative thought or word spoken, it takes 3 positive to cancel it out. He was talking about negativity towards our spouses, but it works with ourselves too. We women talk horribly to ourselves. Absolutely we do. We speak such abusive language to ourselves. And that's what we say. The first time we, and every woman has experienced, is verbal abuse, and they're doing it to themselves. Psychological abuse to themselves. And we talk a lot about how we abuse ourselves, not only how we were abused, but how as individuals we abuse ourselves over and over and over again. When we build this skill of resilience, we give ourselves an ability to stop abusing ourselves. We give ourselves this tool, this resource that we can call upon and say, hey, I'm not going to do that. I'm resilient here. I don't speak those words to myself. I don't give myself a hard time about the way my body looks and bully myself. Why? Because I've become resilient in that, because I've changed my language, because I've changed my mindset, right? I've changed my reality. Exactly, be an ally to yourself first and foremost. So I hope these have helped you guys. And as you apply them, I would love to hear how you apply them in your life, or if you have other ways where you're thinking, hey, here's a way that you could be willing to make a mistake. Let's share our examples of things and ways that we've done these in our lives, or that we can see how we can incorporate it more into our lives. I will be talking tomorrow about the actual steps that I learned how we can build resilience in our kids, utilizing a few different examples as well. So I hope you join me tomorrow, probably about around the same time, pending my 4-year-old and my high schooler do as they're told, because I will not have my mother-in-law tomorrow. We'll also be getting ready for birthday celebrations and some exciting stuff. I can't wait to show you guys. We're going to be having so much fun this weekend. So much fun. I can't say it because I have kids that actually watch this sometimes. I doubt that they'll watch a long IGTV, but sometimes they do. The one child that was on here, it's okay that she knows. It's interesting having adult children and younger children at the same time. Oh my gosh. So the rest of this afternoon I have to... You guys, having the Better Method Planner in physical form available to order and it being shipped to you guys, anyway, so expect a lot more of this coming at you, talking about that. I really wanted to just focus on today's topic and not get all into like product stuff. But I am loving this. Okay, so for 1 second before we close out. So with every order, physical order, you get this really cute note card, so you can punch it and put it wherever you want, right on. But on the flip side is where the heart of it is. So we're going to start helping you figure out what your better self formula is. And this is going to be really important because we're going to have an entire month where we talk about it again and really breaking it down. It's part of the Better Method. It's key and essential to you living a better life, and it's really can only be done by you. We're just going to teach you the method of it, the formula, and you're going to apply it to your life. Yes, Amy, there is. You can buy the entire, we have it set up as a bundle where you can buy the entire planner, and it will still have your sections. So if you bought the whole bundle, let me show you what you got. We also have a tab that shows you where our favorite disc and covers are. So go to, when you hit the Better Method Planner, you can scroll down and there's a Tools and Resources tab and hit that. I've been loving Talia products. I would love to know who is running the company because I've tried to get a hold of them. So if anybody knows, like tag them, let me know. I love the quality of their products. I'd love to work with them. But this is who I get my covers and discs from now. So if you were to order the whole bundle, you get the Well-Rounded Foundation for free. So that comes included. You guys could go see all the details of these. You get an entire set of 2021 months up until June. And then in June, it will switch to do a July to June calendar. You get 3 months of your week by week, 3 months of that entire set. And in that set, it gives you where you can do a monthly overview real quick. You can do your weeks. It has the grid in between weeks. So if you mess up, you can replace. And every month section comes with 5 weeks. So you'll have some extra, which is really nice because not every month has 5 weeks. These are, you can order on your own, order on your own. You get the entire tracking bundle. This is a 3-piece bundle of the best trackers. So you get the yearly monthly, the monthly daily, and then the monthly intentions tracker. We'll be showing tons of ways to use those. Excited about that one. I've been working on that. The middles, guys, know the middles. Let me just show you. If you want to see a lot of these pieces too, you can go check it out. Unless you live in Canada, which I don't know why that got blocked. That was ridiculous. I did a reel. But, so these are the middles right here. And the way they're set up is so that you can see your week and still flip, and everything is right in your fingertips. So the middles would include things that you do every single week that don't really change. So your routine habits list, home refresh, weekly cleaning. So that one is usually typically the same. Then this week might change, but it might continue on, and that's why I like having it. So master to do, move to next week. You have a brain dump section, your meal planning. Another sketch pad. I use this a lot of times when I'm figuring out recipes. If I'm gonna do a new one, like the one I did a easy BLT bowl that I did a reel on. You guys can check that out. I'm going to be writing out the recipe for everybody, and then I'll take a snapshot. Shopping list, and then extra grid paper. So, and then this is what your weeks look like. So it's a week, Monday through Friday here, your Saturday, Sunday. You have a spot. Let's see. So you have a spot also for next week to record your victories, what your reward is going to be for your week that you just rocked, your right nows, your bonus items, and a spot to set your intention, your theme, and your focus. So all of those we will be talking about as well as we move forward and how I use it. All right, so those are the middles. You get 5 weeks of middles in your planner bundle. You also get forward, backward planning and year at a glance. And I'll show you what those look like real quick. Amy, that was such a great question. Thanks for asking that. Okay. Can we see this pretty well? I feel like I'm so far away from you guys. Okay, so here is, I have my well-rounded in the beginning. We are working through this right now. In the Facebook group, we'll be talking about life season profile in the next week. So if you're not a part of the Facebook group, you want to go grab that over there on Facebook. Now I'm getting to the point where it's like, if Instagram had like groups, I don't know. I'm just joking. I love Facebook for that reason. It's only groups. It's the only thing I like Facebook for. Anybody else on that? Where they only like certain apps for certain aspects? Okay. So here's your year at a glance. And what we changed with this one, so you have all of your months on one page this way. And then behind the next page is we listed out the months. So the names of the months are there for you. So where you see the highlight mark, that is already there for you. And then all this writing is mine, obviously. So that you can also look at your year that way. And then we provided a grid in between for other yearly activities or occasions that you want to keep track of from year to year. So mine was other yearly events, festivals. We have a Sunflower Festival around here, Hot Air Balloon Festival, State Fair, county performances, county fairs. So things that on a yearly basis I might want to think about doing. All right. So our forward backward planning. I love this insert. It's probably one of my favorites. It just comes with a plain cover. The very first section is for you to just kind of lay out from like your generic monthly schedule. I feel that helps me, especially I break my year into 2 years and I look at them two differently. So we have the school year and then we have the summer year. So I need a general monthly schedule that's different for those. So you have a 2-month view. So you have 2 months on this side, and then this comes as an empty grid. And that's how I separate mine. So I list, and I know it's backwards for you guys, but I list projects and goals for each month, and then I can come and color coordinate on the other side. Sometimes it ends up being very plain, and that's all I accomplish. And other times I've put more time into it. Doesn't really matter. It depends on what I'm feeling. So that helps as far as I can lay out vacation schedules, school schedule can be on here. And so then it will help me plan when I'm going to do projects. Because if I'm planning like spring cleaning and thinking that I'm going to do it in April, but April is like already booked up with other things, then I'm already setting myself up for failure. Again, we're talking about expectations, right? And having manageable ones. And so it helps me really set manageable expectations based on what is already actually going on that I can't change. So all of those are included. I want to say, I think an entire set of grid notebook paper is also included when you order it as the planner altogether. And then it comes, and then you can get your desk and your cover and you can put it together for yourself. How much time do I normally spend planning each week, and do you plan a little each day or have a set day to plan all the things? Ooh, good question. I'm loving these questions. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. So if you have any more as we're going, type them in. So I have, that's a loaded question. I plan all the time, I should say. So even if I'm not writing it down, my flow of my routine on a daily basis has become habitual, and I built that. And so at this point in time, those things like you see in the middles is how my day is naturally flowing. And then my planning is things that I would like to do in addition to how my day naturally flows, being that motherhood and home management are my primary vocations. And so I will spend Sunday, I'll lay out my week and be very clear, make sure I know time-wise things that are scheduled. I may even assign certain days, certain tasks. And then I will try to at least get a master list of the things that I'd like to accomplish or that have to get done. Meal planning gets done during the weekends. And then as the week goes, each and every day, I spend a little bit of time thinking or writing down, and both, the things I need to accomplish and what I want to get done. I also use a few other systems throughout depending on what it is that I'm working on. So I have something that's different for business. This holds everything that I need to put my fingertips on right now. It might not necessarily stay here. A lot of these sections have what I call my reference binders or planners, where I'll go put my work notes, and they're there so I can recall them, but I don't have to carry them around with me. But I don't actually need a separate planner for that. And so that resource planner has a couple different categories. And so just like I don't journal every single day, but in a sense I do, because I write somewhere in here about something that happened. So I feel like it happens kind of all the time in a way. And then there's days where the planning just happens in here. I don't ever get to write anything down that day, and I will go back and I'll write down. There's some weeks that has happened where it's, oh yeah, I didn't get to that, but I still want to have a record of what happened, because this isn't just planning. This is life transcribing. This is me giving accurate testimonial to myself and to my future generations that I want to be the example for of what actually happened on a regular basis. I want my children to start off with better expectations for adulthood than what I had. I want my children to have a better foundation of expectations for parenthood, for motherhood, for fatherhood, for home management, for running a business. So I want that record. And so I do go back. I'm not hardcore. If I miss it, I miss it. If it doesn't look fancy, it doesn't look fancy. But I do try to go back and at least capture something. There are times where an entire week will go by and nothing got written down, and that's fine, and I leave it that way. Here you go. This is a really great, this is what happened. I mean, like, it's bare bones, and that's okay because I know what got done. I mean, all the stuff got done. And then if it didn't, it didn't. It's okay. A lot of the stuff is stuff that I've set expectations for. I've set deadlines for. I've said it has to get done, but does it actually have to get done? No, it doesn't actually have to get done. Nobody's going to suffer if it doesn't. And then there's weeks like this where I did a really great job writing my stuff out, and I didn't even capture what we did that weekend yet. So I would probably go back and write that. When I was doing either my review of the week, that would be done, or sometimes it's at the end of the month when I'm doing a monthly recap. I'll go back and fill it in, and I'll go look at pictures that I've taken that day or videos I've taken that day to remind me what happened, and then I'll write something down. So that was a great question. Thank you. All right, I don't know how long this has been or how long we're at. Thanks for sticking with me. We got through the things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about tangible ways that we can incorporate and build resilience in our personal lives, which will help us in the long run in many, many, many categories. So that got accomplished. We've talked about the planner. It's a great time, right? And I did drink a few sips of my coffee hot. My children are not the only reason why I don't drink coffee hot. My ability to talk is also another reason why I don't drink my coffee hot. So cheers to room temperature coffee and learning lessons from mean people and keep on moving and keep on going forward. Anyways, all right, thanks for joining me, you guys, today. I really, really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow for sure. We'll be talking about ways that we can do it with our children, specifically a great example in maybe schoolwork or homework or chores. We can talk about that. We'll use those as our examples so that you can have an actual conversation foundation, because I feel like sometimes we need those as well. So thanks for being with me. I really appreciate it. You guys go have a better day.